My name is Pam Dunn. What I do for Challenge Day has changed over the course. Primarily right now, I'm a Challenge Day program facilitator. I'm one of the people that goes into the schools, into the boardrooms, into whatever, and provides content for up to 7 hours. Historically, I have been a part of the training department. I've been a coach forever to train other leaders how to be in the room, how to interact with young people in particular. Maybe more importantly, how to interact with the adults that are helping us hold those young people. So yeah, I wear a lot of hats. So my first touch with Challenge Day was being invited to somebody's home who showed me a bit of a video of a challenge day and showed me the kind of the workbook, the notebook of the scripts and all of the pieces and the rules and all of the stuff. I decided, it couldn't hurt. Went to a 3-day workshop that Rich and Yvonne were holding, and it was one of their primary ways to see whether people were a fit for Challenge Day. And it was clear that they wanted me. And I just kept kind of going back and forth, back and forth. But I went to a day almost as like, you know, they had trained me as much as they could. They needed to get me on the floor. I needed to see a day. So they pulled me into a day. And I really appreciated the space that was given to the young people to have their own voices out in a way that I hadn't seen a lot of programs do, certainly not in schools. And so I thought, I could do this. And if I'm honest, I thought I might be here for a year, maybe 2 years. That was in 2003. The first Challenge Day program that I saw, where I was an adult participant, um, I honestly was a little like, I was enjoying the kids, but the program itself felt a little shut. It felt a little flat. Once I was able to like find myself inside of the program, I really felt like this program can change lives. This program makes a difference. It's beautifully put together. I remember sitting when I was the first time when I was just a participant. I remember sitting with the kids and they asked me why I was there, and I told them I'm here because I'm thinking about doing this program. And their reaction to me and their acceptance of me and even support of, yeah, you really should. This would be really good for you. I'd love to see you doing something like this was super encouraging. So it was kind of around the edges that I got caught, that I got pulled into the program. Not watching somebody trying to figure out how are they doing it and could I do it and do I want to do that? Like I had to kind of back out of that just to see the program. I think it's one thing if, like, if I had just gone to a challenge day with no sense of it having anything to do with a job I could hold, I probably would have seen it differently. But because I felt like I was still sort of auditioning and I was still sort of checking out this potential job, it didn't have the same like catch. I feel like partnership is one of the biggest things we teach and coach about, and feedback about, right? Because when you're out there on the road, it's just you two. In particular, as people of color, I think that there's a strong need to really have each other's back, to really be there for each other. What's interesting to me is that every time I go into a room or do a day with somebody, the assumption the adults make are, do you guys always work together? Because the feeling is, oh, you guys are really good together. You must be a team. And I've experienced that in almost every partnership I've been in. And part of that is how we look out for each other. This is my partner. I've got you. And if anything goes awry, we step up for each other. We check in on each other. We may have meals together. We may spend hours giving feedback. This is what I heard in your story. Maybe you could do this. What if you added that? We're always kind of tinkering with and working with our partnerships day. But on the floor, our goal is to always look like this is a team. Oh boy. We were in a school, you know, in Challenge Day Talk, I would say it's a level 2.5 school. Like we had to work to get the kids, to get their buy-in. The adults were less than helpful, all of that. And we had this particular group of young men who were doing what high school young men can do when they're in a clump. And during the break, we're pretty sure they had gone out and gotten high, right? So now they're in the room, they're carrying on, it's all crazy. We get to the part of the day, basically where there's the teach about feelings and balloons, and then the iceberg teach. And at the bottom of the iceberg, I always wrote 100% real on the bottom of the iceberg. And then they go into their small groups. And of course, we've done our best to mix these boys out into other groups. We get all the way to the time where we give the young people the microphone to speak out, to tell us what's going to be different, how they're feeling. And the leader stood up. He grabbed my microphone. He walked over to the iceberg, tore off the bottom where it said 100% real, and taped it to his shirt. And he said, "From now on, this is who I am." And all of his boys stood up and applauded for him. And if I could clear anything up, I would clear up that, in fact, what we're trying to do is give them permission to do stuff. The movement young people are making, yes, in some ways it's encouraged by the talks, the storytelling, the um, giving them time to talk, holding adults back, right? There's a lot of stuff we're doing to orchestrate their ability to give themselves permission to talk about it, or to laugh, or to dance, or to play in a way that they haven't in a long time because, we're in school, right? And there's a way we're supposed to look and act, especially since the advent of the cell phone and Twitter, Instagram, all the things. Like, I feel like image has become a huge thing for our young population. And so we are actually giving them a chance to give them permission to maybe be more than just that tiny piece of themselves. So I'd like to take away the we make them do stuff and put in a lot more. We give them permission and we give them a chance to. Yeah, it's fun that there's actually a term for what we've been doing for 35, 40 years. The whole school connectedness thing, it's so important, especially if we can, with eyes open, acknowledge our differences. And I'm talking about the differences beyond race. Like, I go to schools where everybody there looks like everybody else and they've known each other since kindergarten. And it's not until a challenge day they realize, I had no idea you were going through that. I had no idea that was happening. I thought people who go through that are those people, right? So the lines start to blur. It starts to be like, oh, that's my friend who is dealing with gang violence. I had no idea, right? Or that's my friend whose parents might be abusing substances, might be unavailable, might be a vanishing act, right? So I feel like the more that sense of connectedness, the more we feel like we belong with each other, the more we can stand up for each other, the more we can be allies for each other, the more we can make friends beyond like, what's your favorite shoe?
The reason I pray that Challenge Day continues to do what it's doing with our eyes open, right? Because the program changes all the time. As things change, we change, right? But
I guess it's two pieces. The piece around young people feeling like they belong somewhere, that they are a part of something, that they are actually have a sense of like a locus of control, not just over this, but over what's going on around them. This is the second part. If I feel like I belong to this community, it's like I need to have mine. But if I can understand that mine is also yours, that we're in this together, regardless of who you love, what you look like, what language you speak, who you pray to, regardless of all of those things that we might have been even brought up to believe make us different, then I have a chance of being able to connect across those differences and see a larger sense of belonging, see all of us in it together.